Alright, anyone who's been in the headphone amplifier DAC game, yeah, it's a game, for a while knows what this box is, and they know what this box is. This is the original FiiO E10. Came in a nice little tin. This is mine. I used to stick under my desk, thus the Velcro. And I used it until it was time to upgrade, and actually until I broke the line out. I had a big, heavy 3.5mm to RCA with RCAs, then I had the Magni DAC, Magni amp, and it was, and that was it. So, put it away, I got my other stuff. And this has not been available for a while. Everyone wanted one, and then all of a sudden they went away. So, finally, recently, the FiiO E10K is out. FiiO E10K is the updated FiiO E10. Oh my god, it makes so much sense now. So you don't get a metal tin, you got this cardboard box and an insert. So let's pull it out. And this box is just a USB wire. Are we seeing the difference? Meh. Well, let's do a full side-by-side. I think the volume knobs are identical. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, maybe there's a 0.5 millimeter on the new. Here's the new one. You could distinguish the new one from the old one. The old one had bass up and down, and the new one has bass left and right. As you can see, they made a bigger indent so that your headphone plug. Well, this one is pretty much raised to the surface, so there should never have been a case where the headphone plug just didn't fit, because it never actually stuck in that far. So now that it's a little bit recessed, it can accept a bigger head. Bass off, bass off. Still 0 to 8. The high-low gain switch on the old one, this is the old one, was on the bottom. The high-low gain switch on the new one is located here in the back. It's a little tiny thing. I don't know if I like the way that feels. It feels a little bit like I'm going to break it at any moment. They've put a metal line out on the new one. Metal in the front, metal in the back, same one. Where in this one, it's metal in the front, plastic in the back, which is probably why I destroyed it. The coaxial line out, which will not pass through surround sound, so don't even try it. Originally, when I bought this, I bought it so that I could end all reasons to use my onboard, and that would have been, this would have powered my headphones, then I would have had my surround receiver hooked up, and it would have been great. Guess what? Won't do it. Will only pass through 2-channel PCM. And then, the next and last upgrade, which is a downgrade in my opinion, just my humble effing opinion, is now it's a micro USB instead of a mini. And I don't know why. They didn't do, it's not like it's super tiny and it's got a fit in it doesn't make any sense. This is dumb. Stop putting minis on things that can be micros. Hell, they could have made this a full, don't make it a full size. A full-size USB would be annoying to have stick out of the back of that. But a mini is fine. I've got 10 minis. Now I got to go and dig out of the box and use their little micro adapter. It's stupid. Stop it. It actually looks like they stripped the screws a bit on the new one. And they didn't on the old one. Alright. Writing on the bottom, what does it say? Olympus 2, FiiO made in China. It's a different direction on this one. USB DAC headphone amp. Blah, blah, blah. Electronics. FiiO electronics. Blah, 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 blah. Here's the high-low, little tiny switch. So, what can I tell you? I've listened to them both recently. I pulled them both out, put them both on. Used this for about a week, and I used this for about 2 days, because I used this for like 2 years, so I know exactly what the hell it sounds like. Is there an improvement with the 10K versus the 10? Yes, absolutely. When the dawn of headphones and me, and this is all I had, it was great. It was better than, the outputs in the Behringer, the standard outputs. Better than the outputs. This is my first DAC. This is my first DAC. Look at it. And it worked really good. I never needed to use high gain. I always kept in the low gain. Although, nearing the end of my using it, I did have to creep that volume pretty damn high during quiet scenes in movies. And I like the bass on off because when I was playing PlanetSide, you throw it on. Because explosions, there's no fidelity to explosions. You just want the explosions to make your head explode. And this bass on off, this bass boost, was a little too much. You know, if you got the whole frequency range from you know, fiddles and flutes down to bass cannons and explosions and dubstep. What this raised when you turned it on was too big a chunk of that. So you got all the super lows, but then you got all like the middle lows. And all the low, like the high lows, it was like way too much. So half of the spectrum just came shooting up. It was like, blah, it just muddied the fuck out of everything. And they've improved that on the new one. The new one, you turn on the bass, and it's just the low. The low lows and below. About half as many frequencies as this one used to boost. But, and now we're going to get into my critique of this. I've tested the DAC, like the line out. The line outs here, you take them out of here, go to speakers, go to amps. I had them in my my O2 here. And line outs to the O2. So I could listen to the DAC. I'm doing that, I'm just listening to the DAC output, not to the headphone amp. And it's broken on my old one, so I can't test that. But on the new one, it sounded alright. You plugged it in here, put on my headphones. All the power in the world is in this little box. So it was fine. But you take those headphones out of there, plug them into the front, and play with this, and the sound is just off. Just off. Whatever that switch is. That figment of your imagination where things are either on or off. And it was off. I tried it in a couple different amps. I had this amp. I've got the FiiO E10K here, which I'm borrowing from someone. I've got my SAP2, SMSL SAP2, and I tried them all, and then I kept going back to this one, and going, why don't you sound any good? It's powerful, powerful as hell. I could definitely blow my headphones up currently with this. The line out is now 2 volts, where it wasn't on this, so, you know, you could power speakers and everything. But the headphone amp, something about the way it presents itself, it sounds like there's like a, I don't know, let's say 3 clicks less separation than I'd like, and was it tinny? No, it wasn't really tinny. It wasn't a tinny sound. It's almost as if having the bass boost set to on takes it just a touch above correct, but setting it to off takes it just a touch below correct. In other words, on the original, when you listen to it, when it's off, when the bass boost is off, everything sounds fine. It's just fine. It's not great. It's an old DAC, new DAC sound. The new DAC is a little better, but it sounds like they've just made it bassless until you flip this on. So I ended up using it the whole time with the bass boost on, and I hate doing that. But with it off, something's wrong. Something is just inherently wrong and narrow. It didn't... Look, I'm comparing a $75 small DAC amp combo to an O2 or an ODAC and an O2 or an ODAC and a FiiO E10K. These are big, heavy things. So let me put it in comparison to the M2, this little SMSL M2, the credit card size one that I absolutely love. It shits on this. It may not be as powerful. Power isn't everything. It's still got to be clean, enjoyable, well-separated channels to power a headphone. And this is very clean, almost sterile. In fact, that was the word I was looking for. Sterile. Now, I don't know if that means that I like warmth or I like a little bit of a tweak in my headphone amps. I tried 4 different headphone amps, so I'm assuming that the 4 highly rated good headphone amps, you know, I could trust their collective sound versus this. And this doesn't sound like those 4 collective headphone amps. This sounds sterile and narrow. Sterile and narrow. Like the yield. So, if you have a budget of $75, you have 2 choices right now. I'm sorry, you have 3 choices right now. Let me tell you what your 3 choices are. The FiiO E10K, which has a very good DAC. I've output the DAC. DAC sounds fine. It's not as good as an ODAC, but what the fuck do you want from me, man? It's small. It's got the coaxial pass-through, which doesn't do surround sound. If it did surround sound, this would be a different result at the end of this review. But this is not as good as the M2. And for the same price, actually less than this price, the SD793-2, which is the SPDIF only DAC. The one that the SMSL, the one that I said you have to plug into fiber optic or a coaxial digital. You get a 1/4-inch jack. It's a bigger unit. Granted, it's a bigger unit. But the headphone amp in it is superior to this, even without a bass boost, even without high-low gain. It is just a better amp. And then you at least get full-size RCA outs to go to something else. And it's powered also. Got to keep in mind, this is only USB powered. So they're taking the 5 volts that you're coming in USB, and that's being used to power a DAC and a headphone amp. And it's doing a very good job of powering, like the volume itself. If I flip this to high and I turn this up, it will power a lot of headphones. More headphones than I have. All my headphones are all efficient headphones. I'm sure if I got a pair of DT770 250 ohms, if I had those back, this would power it. But it's got to power it narrow and sterile. And I didn't like it. I just didn't like the sound of it. So, you either get this, the SMSL M2, which I'm considering rebuying just to keep in my pocket because it's awesome. Or, I should have brought it here, I have another one, an SD793-2 from SMSL, which is a different hookup option. You don't get USB on that, so you got to really pay attention. The direct competitor to this is the SMSL M2, because it has fiber optic out in the front, and line out in the front, which is a shared port, and the headphone out in the front, and it takes a mini instead of a fucking micro. Why are you micro? And stab you with a screwdriver. Well, anyway, I'm selling this. Now that I've sort of told you it's not the greatest thing in the world, I'm going to put it on AV Exchange and try to sell it, because I bought it outright pretty much just to review it, because I have to, and I can't really absorb it, and I don't know if I want to give it away. I guess I could just give it away in one of my giveaways, but I'm going to give it a shot trying to sell it for a reduced price. Somebody out there still wants it. Somebody out there heard from their friend that it's better, and they're not listening to me at all, and they're just going to give me their money, and I'm going to give them this. So yeah, I'll give it a wipe down now that I've angrily sweat at it. And you could pick one up. But know that I think it sounds sterile and narrow. Like the yield.